Hey team, hope you're doing well. Today's topic is how to run a 5K in 18 minutes. I know a lot of athletes out there are seeking to run 17:59 or faster. And I was recently asked by one of my subscribers who reached out to me and was wanting to know how he thinks he should pace himself to break the 18-minute barrier. And he was thinking, going out in 5:48 the first mile, 5:46 the second, and maybe kicking the last 1.1 miles. That is a decent strategy, but my overall focus was always, in terms of running fast over the 5K distance, especially on the roads, is not trying to make a move until after you hit that first mile. Okay, you need to hold 5:47 mile pace in order to run 17:59 for 5 kilometers, or 3:36 per kilometer for 5 consecutive kilometers. So in my recommendation to break 18 minutes is I wouldn't go out any faster than around 5:53 through the first mile of the race. Okay, once you hit the first mile, make it a 2.1 mile race. So go 5:53 the first mile, then maybe aim for a 5:45 the second mile, and then going 5:30s, low to mid 5:30s or quicker, or high 5:20s for that last 1.1 miles of the race. So it's you don't want to go out too anaerobically in the first 1 mile or the first 1.6 kilometers of the race and blow up and go into oxygen net and end up running, say, 18:50s or 19 flat because you went out way too aggressive in that first mile. So some of the the recommendations I would focus on is continue to work on your leg development and your speed, getting on the track and doing repeat 800s at around 3:05 in the early stages of your buildup, and working that down to around 2:38 to 2:42 per rep. Working on your repeat 400s. That might mean starting off doing maybe 8 to 10 400s at around 125 to 126 per rep, with a 2-minute recovery in the early stages of your buildup, and then working down toward around 112 to 115 per rep with 60 seconds rest, 45 to 60 seconds rest as you become much more fitter. So again, the focus should always be on running slower reps in the early stages of your buildup with more recovery, and then as you get fitter, running higher volume but less recovery in between each one of your reps. But again, you don't want to get too over hyped up and too excited in the early stages of your race to go and risk not breaking your goal of the sub 18-minute barrier. Again, that's a highly competitive time. Running 5:47 for 3.1 miles or 3:36 per kilometer for 5 straight kilometers, that takes an extreme amount of fitness. And again, in order to do that, you have to be strategic in how you go out. Focus also continually in training, in staying relaxed as you possibly can, okay? Especially at moderate to faster efforts, okay? Because that is really an art form. There's so many, it's much easier. It's not a difficult task to stay relaxed, in terms of your physiology, when you're running easy, relaxed mileage, because you're not building up so much more lactic acid. It requires so much less oxygen capacity to run easy versus running at much faster paces. But the more relaxed you can be at running at submaximal to maximal efforts, the higher your chances of achieving your overall performance goals is going to go up. Because again, if you look at all the best middle to long distance runners as well as the best sprinters out there, they look very relaxed at running at very high speeds. And again, the more relaxed you are, the less muscular tension you have, the higher and better performance you're going to have in the race itself. And again, you also have to focus on your taper. Okay? Focus also on running at longer distances. Okay, your tempo runs or your threshold efforts, focus on work yourself to a point where you can do up to double the distance, up to 6.2 miles or up to 10K at a slightly faster or slightly slower per mile or per kilometer pace. Okay, so the goal here is 5:47. So that might mean doing your tempo or threshold run out to 10K, up to around 6.2 miles or 10 kilometers at, say, maybe 6:15 to 6:20 mile pace. okay, or around 350s per kilometer pace. Okay, again, you're running double the distance but a slightly slower pace, but again, that's going to build an enormous amount of strength and endurance that you will only help you in breaking the 18-minute barrier for the 5 kilometer distance. Okay, so if you're doing repeat miles in training for the 5K, maybe do 4 1,600-meter repetitions on the track. Okay, that's slightly less than a mile, but doing 4 1,600 reps, maybe starting off at threshold effort. Okay, and that might be doing 5 to 6 1,600s at 6:13 mile pace. Okay, and then again, giving yourself 3 minutes rest in the early stages of your buildup, and then working the 1,600 reps down to around 5:22 to 5:27 per rep, with a 60-second to 90-second rest in between each one of those reps. The fitter you get. Okay, and focus on a 10-day taper. Okay, 10 days is optimal. If you're going to do some time trials, in the middle of that buildup, make sure that you are jogging and taking it easy at least 2 days prior to the start, and not stressing yourself so much that you're going to run poorly in the race. Okay, it's still important to keep your volume relatively high and not to drop too much volume, because again, you want to focus on your goal event. Okay, if your goal is to break 18 minutes for the 5K, you have to continue to work on your leg speed, whether doing hill repetitions, repeat 400s on the track, repeat 800s, repeat 1000s on the track, and also focus on running at further distances. Okay, doing threshold runs out to around 6 miles is key, because again, that's going to help you psychologically, knowing that you've already trained yourself to run double the distance, but not quite as fast as 18-minute 5K pace, because that's going to be an all-out effort for you in order to get that 17:59 or faster time. But again, don't run too fast in the early stages of the race. Okay, no faster than 5:53, 5:52, 5:53 per first mile. Hold back, and then once you hit that first mile, then really start focusing on running. Make it a 2.1 mile race. That's how I ran my 14:18 personal best for the 5K. Okay, I went out a little bit less aggressive in the first mile, and again, I had some help. The guy that beat me in the race was a 49:11 10 miler, a 2:19:49 marathoner, and a 1:05 half marathoner. Okay, he ran 14:16, beat me by 2 seconds, beat me in the kick in the last 100 meters. But again, if you have somebody to help you, that's great. If you don't, if you're the one that's out there leading the race, again, don't go out too fast. To break 18 minutes, focus on running, like I said, around 5:52 to 5:53 through the first mile, then aiming at around a 5:40 the second mile, then a 5:28 to 5:32, 5:33 through that third mile, and then that 0.1 mile, the last 200 meters or so of the race, go as hard as you possibly can. And again, focus on staying as relaxed as you can in the race. That is going to help you to run more economically, more efficiently, all the way to the finish line. I hope this answers the question of how to run a 5K in 18 minutes. Again, there's a lot of variables that go into doing this effectively, okay, and only so much time in each one of these videos. Definitely go back to the search box in my YouTube channel and type in 5K in 18 minutes or how to run a faster 5K. There's a lot of videos I've made here that I hope will help you to run faster over the 5 kilometer distance. Definitely check out the links below these videos, the resources below my videos as well. Go to RunDreamAchieve.com. There's a lot of resources there as well for you to help you get to the next level in your training and racing. Like and share these videos. It definitely helps the channel grow and other athletes around the world to see these videos. And if you have any other questions or comments, leave them below. I will definitely reach back out to each and every one of my visitors. So I wish you all the best in your training, and I will talk to you all in the next video.